Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, Bachelor's Degree Program, Elective Course, Rural Development, BRDE-101 Rural Development, Indian Context, Block 6 Emerging Rural Society, Unit 2 Empowerment. 2.0 Aims and Objectives. The aim of this unit is to provide you familiarize with the concept of empowerment. In this unit you will learn about the meaning, definition, basic component and dimension of empowerment with reference to women empowerment. After reading this unit, you will be able to define empowerment, examine empowerment in the context of women empowerment, and explain dimensions of women empowerment and familiarize with various programs for this. 2.1 Introduction. In the society, men and women are different in terms of role, responsibility, possession of resources and capacity of contributing in the process of development. Women are comparatively in disadvantaged position. Their situation is determined by the religious norms, economic status or class, cultural values, ethnicity and the kind of productive activities in the community or household. Therefore, for gender equality, social transformation in terms of empowerment is required. The present unit will deal the issues related to empowerment. 2.2 Meaning and essential components. Empowerment is a process that challenges our assumptions about the way things are and can be. It challenges our basic assumptions about power, helping, achieving, and succeeding. To begin to demystify the concept of empowerment, we need to understand the concept broadly in order to be clear about how and why we narrow our focus of empowerment for specific programs and projects' specific dimension or level, etc., and to allow discussion of empowerment across disciplinary and practice lines. Understanding empowerment became a critical issue. The concept of empowerment refers to bringing about a transformation in all walks of the life of every individual citizen of the country. The aim is to provide them a sense of participation and to give them the secure feeling that their voice will be heard irrespective of their economic and social status. According to the country report of the Government of India, empowerment means moving from a position of enforced powerlessness to one of power. Empowerment is an emerging construct used by social scientists who have dealt with the issues of the powerlessness of minority groups, for example women, handicapped, SC/street professionals. Foster empowerment only by providing a climate, a relationship, resources and procedural means through which people can enhance their own lives. Simon, 1190, p. 32. Empowerment is a multi-dimensional social process that helps people gain control over their own lives. It is a process that fosters power, that is, the capacity to implement, in people, for use in their own lives, their communities, and in their society, by acting on issues that they define as important. Empowerment seems a process which includes dialogue, discovery and development. Dialogue process for the formation of partnership among the members, articulating challenges before them and for defining directions. In the second stage of empowering process, the stage of discovery is for identifying strengths, analyzing resource capabilities and framing solutions. The empowering process is for development also by expanding opportunities, creating alliances, and activating resources. Essential components of empowerment. 1. Social empowerment. Social empowerment means removal of all existing socially induced inequalities, disparities and other persisting problems besides providing easy access to basic minimum services. 2. Economic empowerment. It implies the provision of training and employment income generation activities with both forward and backward linkages with THL ultimate objective of making the community economically independent and self-reliant. It would also mean conferring, through policies, onto the economically deprived sections the strength that would alleviate their poverty, improve their living standards and help in generating assets. 3. Political empowerment. Political empowerment means conferring the rights to decide the priorities of development best suited to the individuals, groups of people or to the society and to the people themselves. Power in such an event would flow bottom to top with weaker sections having equal say in decision making. 4. Cultural empowerment. This is a complex area that revolves around the beliefs, values, language, art and customs which characterizes the society. The cultural mores take more time to change and the cultural lag tends to slow down the empowerment process. Women empowerment. Empowerment, as per the Oxford English Dictionary, 1994, empowerment is the process of bestowing power upon or to investing someone legally or formally with power. It is also described as an enabling process, Oxford Dictionary, 1962, 265. Thus, empowerment facilitates change and enables a person to gain control over his/her life through raising awareness, taking action and working so as to fully actualize his/her inherent potential. Empowerment of women will enable a greater degree of self-confidence, a sense of independence and the capability to resist discrimination imposed by the male-dominated society. Empower means to make powerful or to equip with the power to face the challenges of life, to overcome the disabilities, handicaps and inequalities. Empowerment is an active multi-dimensional process which should enable women to realize their full identity and powers in all spheres of life. It would consist in providing greater access to knowledge and resources, greater autonomy in decision-making, greater ability to plan their lives, greater control over the circumstances that influence their lives and freedom from shackles imposed on them by custom, belief and practice. Sapru, 1986, Dr. Shanba Astige, page 20. Women empowerment as a process of redistribution of social power and control of resources in favor of women was introduced at the Third International Women's Conference at Nairobi in 1985. Since then, women's empowerment as an issue has been raised at almost all international platforms like the UN Conference on Environment and Development in Rio de Janeiro in 1992, at the World Conference on Human Rights in Vienna in 1993, at the International Conference on Population and Development in Cairo in 1994 and at the World Summit for Social Development in Copenhagen in 1995, where empowerment was seen as an objective of social and economic development. Women's empowerment is a dynamic but a constant phenomenon which in the initial phase aims at women's liberation, freedom and equity, and later has a long-range goal focusing on full realization of their human rights and fundamental freedoms so as to ensure that they participate fully and equally in political, civil, economic, social and cultural life. Deepening empowerment of women, which is the central and powerful force in the search for a safe environment, economic and social justice, adequate reallocation of resources, the survival of all species and common goal of a healthy planet in which future generation can flourish. Empowerment entails struggle, it entails learning to deal with the forces of oppression, it entails having a vision of a new society, it also entails conscious and deliberate. Kabir, 2005, defines empowerment as a process by which those who have been denied the ability to make choices acquire such ability. The elements required in enabling one to gain power, authority, and influence over others, institutions or society may be listed as following. Decision-making power of one's own. Access to information and resources for taking proper decision. Availability of a range of options from which choices can be made, not just yes/no, either/or. Ability to exercise assertiveness in collective decision-making. Positive thinking on the ability to make change. Ability to learn skills for improving one's personal or group power. Ability to change others' perceptions by democratic means. Involvement in the growth process and changes that is never-ending self-initiated. Increasing one's positive self-image and overcoming stigma. Increasing one's ability in discrete thinking to sort out right and wrong. In short, empowerment is the process that allows one to gain the knowledge, skill sets and attitude needed to cope with the changing world and the circumstances in which one lives. Empowerment entails struggle, it entails learning to deal with the forces of oppression, it entails having a vision of a new society, it also entails conscious and deliberate interventions and efforts to enhance the quality of life. Collective strength is necessary for building solidarity. Janaki, D. Universities as boundary breakers for the empowerment of the socio-economically weak. In India, University News, November the 21st to the 27th, 2005, Volume 43, No. 47. According to the United Nations Fund for Population Activities, UNFPA, report there can be no sustainable development without development for women, because it is the women who contribute more to the development of children. The empowerment of women has multiple benefits not only for the environment but for humanity as well. Ensuring sustainable development requires women's empowerment and equal involvement in the decision-making process. When women are empowered, they empower society. With having concerns for their families and for the entire community, they play a very important role in the development of the whole country. If women are given access to resources, they will spend it on the well-being of large numbers. No society can prosper without the involvement of the half of the population, i.e. women, in the production and consumption process of the development. Empowerment is the process of enabling the women to realize their full identity and powers in all spheres of life. Empowerment helps to create a social environment in which one can make decisions and make choices for growth and development. Women's empowerment is a process in which women gain control over resources, material, human and intellectual, like knowledge, information, ideas, and financial resources, etc., and to control over decision-making in the home, community, society and nation, and to gain power. Empowerment is a process aimed at changing the nature and direction of systematic forces, which marginalize women and other disadvantaged sections in a given context. Empowerment is also visualized as an enabling process. It implies fundamental redistribution of power within and between families/societies and an externally induced process of change towards women's equality and development. Women's empowerment has 5 components: women's sense of self-worth, their right to have and to determine choices, their right to have access to opportunities and resources, their right to have the power to control their own lives, both within and outside the home, and their ability to influence the direction of social change to create more just social and economic order, nationally and internationally. Women constitute almost half of the total population, so their empowerment is the central issue in the process of development. That's why 2001 has been declared as the Year of Women Empowerment by IGNOU. The main goal of national policy for the empowerment of women is to bring about advancement, development and empowerment of women. The main objectives of this policy are: 1. Creating an environment through positive economic and social policies for full development of women to enable them to realize their full potential. 2. The de jure and de facto enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedom by women on equal basis with men in all spheres: political, social, cultural and civil. 3. Equal access to participate and decision-making of women in social, political and economic life of the nation. 4. Equal access to women to health care, quality education at all levels, career and vocational guidance, employment, equal remuneration, occupational health and safety, social security and public office, etc. 5. Strengthening legal systems aimed at elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. 6. Changing societal attitudes and community practices by active participation and involvement of both men and women. 7. Mainstreaming a gender perspective in the development process. 8. Elimination of discrimination and all forms of violence against women and the girl child. 9. Building and strengthening partnerships with civil society, particularly women's organizations. On the occasion of International Women's Day on 8th of March 2010, Government of India launched the National Mission for Empowerment of Women. This has a mandate to achieve intersectoral convergence of all pro-women/women-centric programs across ministries. The main focus of mission is as follows: economic empowerment of women, progressive elimination of violence against women, social empowerment of women with particular emphasis on health and education, gender mainstreaming of programs, policies, institutional arrangements and processes of participating ministries, institutions and organizations. Awareness generation as well as advocacy activities to fuel the demand for benefits under various schemes and programs at the grassroots level. 2.3 Dimensions and different levels of women empowerment. Empowerment is a multifaceted, multidimensional and multi-layered concept. The core elements of empowerment have been defined as agency, the ability to define one's goal and act upon them, awareness of gendered power structures, self-esteem and self-confidence. Kabir, 2001. Stromquist, 1993, has identified 4 dimensions of empowerment. 1. Cognitive empowerment, call for knowledge and an understanding of the self, as well as the need to make choices which may go against cultural and social expectations. 2. Psychological empowerment is concerned with women's feelings and the belief that they can change their situation themselves. Women are normally socialized to be submissive, to say one VL and let the men in their lives make all the decisions affecting them. Psychological empowerment involves the reversal of this patriarchal scheme of things. It entails competence in making decisions at the personal and social levels in order to improve one's situation. 3. Economic empowerment involves the ability of women to engage in income-generating activities which will give the man independent income. It has been shown that financial dependence is one of the key sources of the subordination of women. 4. Political empowerment entails the ability to analyze situations politically, and mobilization for social change. Different levels of empowerment. In line with most theorists on empowerment, the one has to view empowerment as taking place on different levels and that change on all levels is necessary if the empowerment of women is really to occur. We have to relate empowerment at 3 levels: empowerment on the individual, group, and societal/community level and the interaction between these. The individual level deals with individual women's abilities to take control over their lives, their perceptions about their own value and abilities, their abilities to identify a goal and work towards this goal. The group level deals with the collective action and sense of agency that women experience together, in a group. The societal level deals with the permissiveness of the political and social climate, the societal norms and the public discourse on what is possible and impossible for women to do, how women should behave, etc. The different levels are seen as interconnected and mutually reinforcing. For example, when empowerment on individual level occurs, this will have effect on the group and societal level. Women who are empowered on an individual level will most likely go on and affect the other levels. Empowerment on a group level, for example, women organizing around a particular need, is likely to have effect on the individual empowerment of the women in the form of increased self-esteem and sense of agency. To create change in society, we must change individually to enable us to become partners in solving the complex issues facing us. In collaborations based on mutual respect, diverse perspectives, and a developing vision, people work toward creative and realistic solutions. This synthesis of individual and collective change, Wilson, 1996, Florin and Wandersman, 1990, Spear and Huey, 1995, is our understanding of an empowerment process. We see this inclusive individual and collective understanding of empowerment as crucial in programs with empowerment as a goal. It is in the critical transition, or interconnection, between the individual and the communal, or social, that programs such as ours, People Empowering People, can be invaluable for people and communities. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU
2.4 Definition and Programs for Economic Empowerment of Women. Definition: a woman is economically empowered when she has both the ability to succeed and advance economically and the power to make and act on economic decisions. To succeed and advance economically, women need the skills and resources to compete in markets, as well as fair and equal access to economic institutions. To have the power and agency to benefit from economic activities, women need to have the ability to make and act on decisions and control resources and profits. Economic empowerment is comprised of 2 interrelated components: 1. Economic advancement, and 2. Power and agency. Both components are connected, and both are necessary to achieve better lives for women and their families. Economic gain and success. Economic advancement promote women''s power and agency. At the same time, when a woman is able to control and share in resource use, power, and to define and make choices, agency, she is better able to advance economically. The status of women in society depends up to some extent on economic empowerment. It seems that if a woman is earning or if she has control over the productive or even non-productive assets of the household, her value, esteem and even power of bargaining within the household and in the community and the society at large increases. For this purpose, various programs and schemes have been launched by various ministries and departments. Programs for employment and income generation. To make women economically independent and self-reliant, special efforts will be made to generate gainful employment. In this context, the ongoing training cum employee and cum income generation programs viz. SGSY, SAJSRI, PMRY, STEP etc. will be further expanded to cover as many women as possible living below the poverty line. Swayan Siddha, it is an integrated scheme or women's empowerment. It is based on the formation of women into self-help groups, SHGs, and aims at the holistic empowerment of women through mobilization, awareness generation, and convergence of various schemes. The main objectives of these schemes are 1. Establishment of self-reliant women's self-help groups, SHGs. 2. Establishment of confidence and awareness among members of SHG regarding women's status, health, nutrition, education, sanitation and hygiene, economic upliftment and other social, economic and political issues. 3. Strengthens and institutionalizes the saving habit rural women and their see less than control over economic resources. 4. Access of women to microcredit. 5. Involvement of women in local level planning. 6. Convergence of services of Department of Women and Child Development and other department. The Swashakti project. It is a centrally sponsored project. It was sanctioned on 16th of October, 1998 and implemented in 7 states. Now it is in 9 states: Bihar, Haryana, Gujarat, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Uttaranchal. This is also known as Rural Women's Development and Empowerment Project. This project is supported jointly by World Bank and International Fund for Agricultural Development. Aim of this project is enhancing women's access to resources for better quality of life through drudgery and time reduction devices, health, literacy, and confidence enhancement and increasing control over incomes through their income generation activities. Support to Training and Employment Program for Women, STEP. This program launched in 1987 to provide updated skills and new knowledge to poor and asset-less women in traditional occupations such as agriculture, animal husbandry, dairying, fisheries, handlooms, handicraft, khadi and village industries for enhancing their productivity and income generation. This would enhance and broaden their employment opportunities, including self-employment and development of entrepreneurial skills. A comprehensive package of services such as training, extension, infrastructure, market linkages etc. is provided besides linkages with credit for transfer of assets. Women's component in Ministry of Rural Development. To ensure adequate resources for women, the Ministry of Rural Development has special components or women in its programs. The major schemes of ministry having women component are Swaranjayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, Jawahar Gram Samriddhi Yojana, Indira Awas Yojana, National Social Assistance Program, Rural Sanitation Program, Jawahar Rozgar Yojana, IRDP and GRA. The brief details of the schemes are as follows. Indira Awas Yojana, IAY. The aim of this yojana is to provide assistance for the construction of houses in rural areas for people having below the poverty line. In this scheme's priority is extended to widows, women SHG engaged in income generation activity and unmarried women. National Social Assistance Program, NSAP. This program has 3 components, namely, Thomas National Old Age Pension Scheme, the National Family Benefit Scheme and National Maternity Benefit Scheme. Major focus of these entire schemes is to benefits to household below poverty line with major focus on women. The National Maternity Benefit Scheme is exclusively aimed at assisting expectant mothers by providing them 800 rupees each for the first 2 live births. Under the National Old Age Pension Scheme, central assistance of Rupee 200 per month is provided to women and men who are 65 years of age and have little or no regular means of subsistence from their own sources of income source or through financial support from the family members. Under National Family Benefit Scheme, central assistance of 10,000 rupees is extended to the bereaved family in the case of death of the primary breadwinner due to natural or accidental cause. Swaranjayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana (SGSY). It is a holistic program covering various aspects of self-employment, such as organization of the poor into self-help groups, training, credit, technology, infrastructure and marketing. The scheme has been launched in April 11, 1999. It is envisaged that 50% of the group formed in each block should be exclusively for women who will account for at least 40% of the Swarojgaris. Providing assistance to these SHG in the form of revolving fund, bank credit and subsidies. The Yojana seeks to integrate women in the economy by providing increasing opportunities of self-employment. Jawahar Gram Samriddhi Yojana. It has been launched with effect from April 1, 1999, with the twin objectives of creation of demand-driven village infrastructure and the generation of supplementary employment for the unemployed poor in rural areas. In this scheme, 30% of the 2 employment opportunities should be reserved for women. 2.5 Social empowerment of women. Social empowerment means our removal of all the existing socially induced inequalities, disparities and other persisting problems besides providing easy access to basic minimum services. /YoY, empowerment as a process of redistribution of social power and control of resources in favor of women was introduced at the 3rd International Women's Conference at Nairobi in 1985. Since then, women's empowerment as an issue has been raised at almost all international platforms like UN Conference on Environment and Development in Rio de Janeiro in 1992, at the World Conference on Human Rights in Vienna in 1993, at the International Conference on Population Development in Cairo in 1994 and at the World Summit for Social Development in Copenhagen in 1995, where women empowerment was seen as an objective of social and economic development. Gender justice. The Constitution of India not only guarantees gender equality by conferring equal rights on both women and men, but also prohibits discrimination on the ground of sex. For this following initiative taken as follows. Complete eradication of female feticide and female infanticide through effective enforcement of both the Indian Penal Code, 1860 and the PM Natal Diagnostic Technique, Regulation and Prevention of Misuse, Act, 1994 with most stringent measures of punishment. Step taken for reproductive rights of women to enable them to exercise their reproductive choices. To remove inequalities in employment both in work and accessibility, work out in strategies in dose collaboration with Ministry of Labour. Expediting action to legislate reservation of not less than 1/3 seats for women in Parliament and in the state legislative assemblies and thus ensure women in proportion to their numbers reaching decision-making bodies so that they raise their demand and action taken on their demands. Gender sensitization at both administrative and enforcement machinery and ensuring that the rights and interests of women are taken care of, besides involving them in planning, implementation and monitoring of processes. Special efforts will be made to increase easy access towards a comprehensive, affordable and quality health and nutrition care through widespread RCH and ICDS services. To eliminate the discrimination against women and girls in respect of education, special affirmative measures initiated viz. Providing free education, appointing more women teachers, creating a gender-sensitive educational system, increasing enrollment and retention of girls through provision of hostels, midday meal and vocational/technical training. The Constitution of India guarantees the following. Article 14, Equality before law. Article 15(4), enjoins states to make special provisions for the advancement of middle. Socially and educationally backward classes or for SCs. Article 16(4), appointment of backward classes. Article 330, reservation of seats in democratic institutions. Article 335, reservation of seats in services. Several social legislations have been enacted to protect and support the interests of weaker sections, women and children. Some of important social legislations are as follows. Mental Traffic Prevention Act, 1986. Dowry Prevention Act, 1961. The Child Marriage Restraint Act, 1976. The Equal Remuneration Act, 1976. Indecent Representation of Women, Prohibition Act, 1981. The Commission of Sati Prevention Act, 1987. Eradication of female feticide and/or female infanticide through prenatal diagnostic techniques, Regulation and Prevention of Misuse Act, 2000. The Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, 1986. Prevention of Atrocities Act, 1989. Domestic Violence Act. There are also high-powered commissions such as National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes, National Commission for Minorities and National Commission.in for Women, which go into issues of injustices and review laws to make them more effective. 2.6 Political Empowerment of Women. Political empowerment means conferring the rights to decide the priorities of development best suited to the individuals, groups of people or to the society and to the people themselves. Power in such an event would flow bottom to top with weaker sections having equal say in decision-making. Women's participation in public life promotes notions of secularism and strengthens democracy in India. Their participation also challenges current gender inequalities in Indian society and reconstruct that women and men as equal partners in decision-making process. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment provides 1/3 seats are reserved for women in local governance, but still we see huge gap between women's and men's in decision-making process and in political participation at all level. The reasons behind this are as follows. Prevailed negative attitudes towards women. Economic dependency or lack of financial means. Insufficient education in general and politica. Educational lack of support and confidence from family. Political parties are reluctant to giving the adequate number of tickets in election. Check your progress. 1. Define concept of empowerment. 2. Discuss dimensions of women empowerment. 3. Discuss various measures adopted for social empowerment of women. 2. 7. Let us sum up. Empowerment is an approach viewed as an enabling, rather than a delegating process. Therefore, it is considered as a process of enhancing the feeling of self-efficacy among target groups. In this regard, for the clarity of term, we have discussed concept of empowerment and its various dimensions and levels. For clarity of term, we use women as target group and discuss women empowerment. In this we discuss concept of women empowerment, various dimensions of women empowerment, important steps/measures initiated by different agencies for the economic, social and political empowerment of women. 2. 7. Empowerment, a multi-dimensional social process which helps in moving from a position of enforced powerlessness to one of power. Cognitive empowerment, it calls for knowledge and understanding of the self as well as the need to make choices which may go against cultural and social expectations. Thank you, we will see you in the next video.